Man, I really am breaking my own rules, aren't I? I don't like to make videos about teams that are playing later in the day because that takes away from the potential viewership of these videos that I make before the games, but for the Vancouver Canucks, it's been so long since I talked about this team. Actually, it's been a day if you're watching these videos, because yeah, we uploaded a Juho Lammikko video yesterday, but that was pre-recorded, so I haven't actually spoken about my team in a while. Let's go over a few Canucks news and notes before we head into the game against New Jersey tonight. Let's go ahead and see if the Canucks can actually beat this stinking team for the first time in 7 years, because of course New Jersey is going out there stealing points left, right, and center from a Canucks team that kind of needs it right now. Let's go over Tyler Motte, let's talk about Tyler Myers, let's talk about Brandon Sutter as well, not to mention Elias Pettersson. There are a few things to go over with the Vancouver Canucks, and one of them is indeed Sutter. And is it just me? Or is it just super weird to think about how Brandon Sutter has been on the Vancouver Canucks since 2015-16? Like, dude, it's been 7 years since the Canucks started playing with Sutter in the lineup. It's wild to me that the Beniers trade was made and Sutter made his way onto this club. Like, in my mind, Brandon Sutter has just been a complete ghost the past few years. And this season especially, it's almost like he hasn't even played. Well, that is the case. He has been dealing with long symptoms of the virus ever since getting it in the 2021 season. He has been out the entire year, but I think I speak for every Canucks fan in the building that this guy, making $1.125 million, he's signed a one-year deal after getting that massive $4.375 extension for, what was it, like 5 years by Benning? He's skating again. And you know, I don't want to make it seem like Brandon Sutter is going to come in here and he's going to tear the roof down and he's going to be amazing, but like, Brandon Sutter playing again is nice to see. Having this guy actually get to a point where he's comfortable to step onto the ice and start skating again, it's wild because the past few months of Canucks hockey, what with the Travis Green stuff and the firing and the Bruce, there it is, and the wins and all the other things that we have seen over the past few months here, like, Brandon Sutter's the last thing that I'm thinking about when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks. Like, I'm thinking about Halak and I'm thinking about the salary cap bonus and all the stuff the Canucks are going to have to do. Miller, re-sign, whatever, he's a top 10 player in the league. Brandon Sutter is like near the bottom of my list of things to think about when it comes to the Canucks. So when we saw from yesterday that he was skating out there with Burrows, Keeper, Dickinson, and Elias Pettersson, which is pretty much the injured group of the team going out there and doing their skate, a lot of Canucks fans are like, hey, I remember him. Brandon Sutter is back, ladies and gentlemen, and he's probably not going to be back in the lineup, like he's probably not going to play for an extended amount of time, but just seeing him skate at the very least, it's good to see. He's a good dude, and I think if there is indeed some form of a return, like, we know we're not going to see Sutter return to the lineup until he is 100% healthy. Now, whether or not that takes a while or not, it remains to be seen, but if we do get a Brandon Sutter push towards the end of the season, there you go. That's another versatile forward to add into the bottom of your lineup. We'll see where things go from there. Now, talking about a few other players on the Canucks, let's talk about Elias Pettersson, because he was also skating with this Sutter group, which is pretty much the injured players right now. PD is out again, and today it appears that it's going to be Nic Petan that is slotting into the lineup instead. I mean, of course, you have Chase on and everybody else in there too, but like, they're always kind of swapping in and around. So that center spot is being filled up by Nic Petan. It's going to be cool seeing him actually go out there and play properly in an NHL game this season, because I think it was during the preseason, we actually did see some pretty good showcases of skill of Petan playing with, who the heck was it? Was it Miller? I know it's easy to say Miller can make anybody look good, but Nic Petan does have a pretty interesting offensive mind to the game. It's why he was such a good producer for the Abbotsford Canucks this season. He's got 44 points in 37 games. Now, I don't really expect him to go out there and score himself a hat trick, especially if he's going to be playing with Chase on and Podkolzin, but either way, give Petan some time on the power play. It appears that that is going to be the case, and we're going to see how he does against Jack Hughes and the rest of the New Jersey Devils. Now, let's go over two Tylers in the lineup, because when it comes to Tyler Motte and it comes to Tyler Myers, we have indeed had some rumors pop up about these two guys over the past few days. Tyler Motte, according to Elliot Friedman, the Maple Leafs are looking at Tyler Motte among others. This was a report from earlier today. And we also had ourselves a report from Rick Dhaliwal today on Donnie and Dolly saying that he was told if the Canucks were offered a top 40 pick, that would make them think about trading Motte. Now, to me personally, the way Tyler Motte has gone out there with the season he is having, which is pretty good. I mean, he's not Elias Pettersson by any means, but for what Tyler Motte is supposed to be, he's having a great year. When I think about the potential money it would take to keep this guy around, $2.5 million, when I think about the idea of him going to another team, and I think about whether or not he's going to stay or he's going to go, my mind immediately jumps to the conclusion that the Canucks should be trying to trade Tyler Motte, regardless if the return is a top 40 pick or not. Top 40 is a first-round pick, plus a little bit of the second round, so a first from any team or a second from a bad team is what the Canucks would have to get to think about trading Tyler Motte. Like, I'm sorry, but if there's like a third or a meddling prospect that actually has some value that Tyler Motte could potentially go for in a trade, I think you take that if you're Alvin or Rutherford, because the ask that it would take to keep Motte in Vancouver, I don't really think it's worth it. We already talked about this in previous videos, but like, I don't want to see $2+ million going out to anybody who plays in the bottom of the lineup, because those are Benning type mistakes. Those are Beagle and Roussel and Delzato levels of mistakes that are capable of happening once again here, and I don't like comparing Tyler Motte to those players because he's a lot better, but you kind of get what I mean, right? So, Tyler Motte, apparently it's a top 40 pick that the Canucks would think about trading him away for, and I just kind of feel like they need to ease up a little bit there. Toronto being involved and potentially looking at Tyler Motte is funny to me because we say this all the time, but Toronto is linked to everybody under the sun, so Tyler Motte, another versatile, gritty forward that can score some pretty big goals. Hey, who knows if the Maple Leafs could actually use a Tyler Motte, because he can go out there, penalty kill, and score some shorthanded goals when they need to. Score some pretty clutch goals in the playoffs, because that's what a lot of Maple Leafs fans could say this team needs. It's being clutch in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm kind of poking fun here. I apologize for that. Let's go over the last Tyler that we wanted to talk about here today. Tyler Myers. Now, we had some rumors going around Twitter that Tyler Myers actually had indeed entered the trade market, and that teams were calling about this guy. There was a conversation or two going around when it comes to the idea of a Myers trade because the Canucks want to free up some cap. But via Donnie and Dolly earlier today on their broadcast, apparently it's a bad rumor, according to some people in the Tyler Myers camp, because, according to Rick Dhaliwal, Vancouver Canucks defenseman Tyler Myers does indeed have a no-trade clause this year. If you go over to Tyler Myers and you take a look at the cap-friendly page, it says that he has a modified no-trade clause for this season. Now, if you go over to puckpedia.com, it has a different little segment right here. It says that his no trade is full this year, which, according to Rick Dhaliwal on the broadcast, is indeed the case. So in any event that Tyler Myers gets traded, this isn't the modified 10-team no trade that he has for 2022 and beyond. It is a straight up, okay, he needs to actually accept a trade to any team in order to get traded in 2021-2022. So, cap friendly, you guys are probably going to have to go out there and change your website, because apparently Puckpedia has it right. Now, on the broadcast when they talked about Tyler Myers, they also said that a lot of these teams that are trying to add really are just bogged down cap-wise, and it's difficult to find suitors that really can go out there and expend extra money that they have because of the flat cap, because of the hard cap, because of all this stuff going on in the NHL the past few years. It's really a seller's market nowadays, so the fact that Tyler Myers is one defenseman on the market of many makes it really appear like he's not going to get traded anytime soon, and apparently the Tyler Myers camp does not like even hearing the rumors exist in the first place. So there you go, that's our little scoop right here. The Vancouver Canucks might not trade Tyler Myers. It's not really something that I think is as apparent as you were led to believe when all the other insiders like Kyprios and all that started saying that he was on the market. Tyler Motte, on the other hand, he's super versatile, he's cheap, but it appears that the Vancouver Canucks asking price for Motte might be just a tad too high for my liking. Brandon Sutter is starting to skate again, so good for him going out there and actually getting those legs moving. Pettersson is still out, Petan is in, so we're replacing one PD with another PD. Let's see who the real PD is. I hope he'll stand up in this game for sure. Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about the Vancouver Canucks and what your predictions are heading into the game against New Jersey. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be doing a post-game, as we always do when I'm actually here watching the games. Hopefully the Canucks are able to break that 7-year streak of not beating New Jersey, but knock on wood, we will see what happens then. I hope you enjoyed this video, Trolls 99, and bye.